everyone, it's Sarah or Lovely Day here with a crafty video. I talked about making flower crowns the other day and I actually went away and just gave it a go. You can see the results here on Millie. I'm really proud of it. I think it suits her really well. I thought I would walk you guys through how I made it. The base of it is just a brown pipe cleaner. I have woven different flowers onto it. So the flower crown I'm making today is going to be purple, and it's actually going to be for Jade, who's adopting Claire. It's going to be for her new character, whose name is Elizabeth, or Liz for short. I've gone ahead and bought a bunch of fake flowers that I'm going to use for the crown. The one that I made for Millie wasn't using fake flowers like this. It was actually using deconstructed flower crowns that I had bought from the dollar store. As you can see, there's not many flowers left. So yeah, one option is to buy pre-made flower crowns like this. The smaller the flowers the better, obviously, because it's going to be doll size. Just pick the flowers that you like. I went for blue and this peachy orangey color, as well as a white one which had little roses on it. The handy thing about this is that you can pull off the different flowers. These ones are actually just woven on. So all I needed to do was unravel them and then wind them around the pipe cleaner that I was using as a base. It was the same for this one. The white one though, these little flowers, you grab them at the base and then pull them. You can see, or maybe you can, that they are attached to little bits of wire, and then I can wrap that around, so that's really handy. But yeah, obviously these aren't quite like that. They are on plastic stems that I won't be able to weave around or wind around. So for that reason, I've also bought this wire. It's called gardening twist tie. Literally got it from the dollar store. I'm hoping it'll work. I can't think why it wouldn't. I tried to look for smaller ones if I could, and I did opt to getting some interesting leafy things just to add interest and make it a bit different. The last thing you'll need is pipe cleaners. You could get any color. I opted to get brown because I thought they would look like a branch or a stem, and there's a lot in here, so I could make many flower crowns with this. Now the first step is to take your pipe cleaner and bend it into the shape that your flower crown is going to be. I already know that with Claire I'm going to be using the whole length of the pipe cleaner. Don't just use their head circumference, you want to make sure it'll fit on their head with their wig on. And then it's just up to personal preference whether you want it to be a little one sitting on top of their head, or if you're like me and you would prefer it to be as big as it can be so it can sit lower, and then maybe even droop around her head like this. I'm actually going to tie it here at the very end of my pipe cleaner so it's as big as it can be, bearing in mind that when you add flowers to it, it's going to bulk it up, so it will be tighter on Claire than now. So yeah, that's step one, super easy. Now the next thing is really just to go ham and start adding some flowers. I've got scissors handy so that I can trim the stem shorter, and I'm just gonna go for it. I reckon I'll start with some of these darker purple flowers. I'm just going to start off cutting the stems so they're about that big. I'm really just leaving enough space so that I can attach it to my crown. I'm holding my flower just next to my pipe cleaner, and I'm taking my wire and kind of just looping it around. Now it's not going to look the prettiest initially, but the more you add to it, the more bulk it will add, and it will hide the different bits and pieces. So if you have a look now, you'll see my flower attached to that pipe cleaner crown just by winding this around. And it does stick to the sides slightly, but I almost like that. It adds a bit of personality to it. And now I'm just gonna keep going until I get bored. I'm actually going to cut this wire so that it's a bit easier for me to handle. Next I'm gonna grab one of these. I've already got one cut off. Same as before, I'm just going to lie it next to the other flower, and then with my piece of garden wire, wind around, make sure it's pulled tight so it's nice and secure. there we have it. Now I have 2 flowers on there. The great thing about this is you can add as many or as few flowers as you like. Actually, how about we add this rose here just for the sake of it. This rose already has wire attached, so all I'm doing is twisting the wire attached to the rose around and it's on there nice and securely. This can be a bit time consuming, but I also find it quite relaxing. Don't worry too much if there's gaps along the way, because you can always go back and add more to that spot later. Pulling it as tight as I can to make sure that it is secure. And I mean, you can always put it on your doll's head to see how it's coming along. It's in no way a precise art, and flowers might come off too. That's definitely something that can happen. I might end up going back with some craft glue after, just to secure flowers that might be prone to coming off like this one. And at any time you can just cut your wire. It's all just woven on anyway. To try and make this one a bit more secure, what I'm going to do is try weaving my wire around the flower, the stem first. So it's looking like that, and then that way when I put it on, hopefully it'll want to stay there a bit more. The great thing about this is that it's quite thick, there's lots of different branches, it's really easy to add more detail, more interest, and you can just rip them apart. I definitely recommend adding these, even if you see them in the store and you think, well, that's boring. Trust me on this one, they look really good in flower crowns. This is how it's looking so far, just from adding those few. I reckon we're probably ready to add another white flower now. So I'm going to cut one of those off. And I had the other one facing that way, so I might turn this one in the opposite direction. And I'm going to hook it through the wire first. Poke my wire through just so it's going past the flowers, so I'm not just wrapping around it randomly, I'm actually going around the base of that flower. Bear in mind too that you do want the flowers pointing outwards. You don't really want to add too much on the inside if you can help it. I'm actually going to grab one of these to put on, so I'm grabbing it at the base and I'm pulling it off, and then I'll use that wire to attach it on here. This is probably the easiest method when it comes to making these, so if you do have access to them and there are options that you like, this is possibly the easiest way to go. It is just a bit more expensive because I mean you're paying for the crown as well. I'm actually going to cut the top of this one because I don't really want all of that big stuff sticking out there. One thing to make sure you remember as well is that your flowers and your leaves or whatever shouldn't all be facing the same way. Every now and again I try and add something new that's going the complete opposite way. It stops them from looking uniform and boring. I kind of want them to look random, which isn't something that's easily achieved half the time. I'm almost there, by the way. I've just got a few more flowers to put in here, and I found it works best as well if I attach my wire to the flower or the leaf or whatever, so that I've got it on a little dangly thing like this, and then I can go and wind it on. I did decide to use a few of these leaves that are kind of just poking off. With that, I think we are done. There's a lot going on, and I'm not sure how I feel about being able to see all this green wire in there, but it's going to be on your doll like this and you probably won't spot it. I'll put this on clear and see how she looks. That looks pretty cute. I suppose you can see the wire in some places, but I'm not too worried about that. I definitely prefer my method of using, you know, human-sized flower crowns. It's a lot easier when the wire is already attached. It means there's less bulk going on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. It has been lovely, and I will catch you in another video sometime soon.